All right, now that you know how to select and transform in Photoshop, let's talk about layers. Probably the most fundamental thing you will do after selecting or transforming. So with this tutorial, notice that I actually have in my layers panel two sort of groups. These are actually two different artboards. So if you did want to reference like, hey, what's the final thing going to look like? That's what this finished sample is for. So you can actually go back and kind of see how it's set up. But we're not going to use it when we're creating here. So we can go ahead and just click on the twirl arrow there, right, to collapse it. And we could hit the eyeball to turn it off. All right. Because we're going to pretty much focus on this guy. All right. And use the other one as a reference if you want for what we're trying to make. Kind of like a cooking show, right? So here's our starting ingredients. So the big thing to know about layers is, yes, you can reorder them. But after that, one of the most fundamental things you're going to need to do is name your layers. Okay, it's going to help you, I promise, to take the 2 seconds of double clicking on the name for the layer and renaming it. So if I know that's a cityscape, I need just some sort of city-like descriptor, especially if it's some tiny little element and I can't tell what it is in my thumbnails. This is going to be really big for handoff to other designers. I promise they'll be very glad that you named your layers. Okay, so we can reorder these things. We can name them. We can turn them on or off. That's all great. But surely there's more types of layers. Yes, there are. So let's add a couple of layers, like, let's say I go to a shape layer. All right. If I go to the ellipse tool, you can see that I can add all sorts of vector shapes. I can even draw vector shape layers with the pen tool. All right. But let's say I go to the ellipse. You can see that I've got a fill, I've got a stroke, right? And that stroke could be no stroke. It could also be any number of colors for any of those objects, okay? But for our purpose, we're just trying to get some kind of shape in here. So I'm gonna hold down Shift and drag, and you can see that I get a black circle. Now, I know it's a shape layer, and I also know it's vector, because here it's saying, hey, that's an ellipse, and I get this little icon that's saying that's a vector shape, okay? So just like in Illustrator, you do have a black arrow and a white arrow for those vector shapes. So that's actually really, really helpful. But let's say we wanted to move this around and maybe stick it all the way at the back. All right, you can see that we can reorder that. But what if I wanted to make this shape, let's say, go inside that shape? Okay, well, we're going to have to reorder our layers a little bit. And we're probably going to want to see only the thing that we're going to try to make, just because she and our type layer are kind of blocking us. So occasionally you're going to want to turn layers off so you can get to the stuff you need. All right. So in this case, I want to make this circle the container for this layer. Now this could be text down here. It could be a shape layer. It could be anything. To make the circle the frame for this, we're going to make a clipping mask. So to do that, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to create clipping mask. It does need to be in this order. The container is on the bottom and the graphic is on top. Notice that because I have the graphic layer selected, or photo layer, I can still move it around, which is really cool. Now I could also move the shape around, right? So we could nudge that around if we wanted to with the arrows, or even, scale it and do other fun stuff. It all depends on what you have selected here, okay? All right, notice that when I did that, I get this little arrow to let me know like, that's a clipping mask. Okay. Next thing that you probably are going to want to do at some point is group things. So let's say I really wanted to group these 2 or 3 layers. Well, if I hold down Shift and select all of those, or I could hold down Command and click them one at a time. With all 3 layers selected, you can see that I can right click and I can make a new group from layers. And I can name that group, right? And you can see it's all going to get in that container. If I wanted to rename it later, yep, I can rename it model and let's say background, whatever it is that's going to make sense. Okay. Now, if I did want to stick the model in that group, because let's say that's what I need to do, you can actually drag it on in, and now everything is in that group. If you need to ungroup things, yep, you can always right click and ungroup layers. Voila. Okay. Oftentimes with really complex projects, having those groups super helpful. Okay. The next type of layer that you should be aware of is an adjustment layer. Adjustment layers are super helpful because they allow you to colorize and apply effects to as many layers as you want, or maybe just one at a time. These can be accessed over here, and there are a ton of them. And you can see some of them solve photo problems like rescuing an over or underexposed photo, or adjusting the contrast, or changing a color of something, right? Or making everything black and white. So there's a lot of really good adjustment layers in here. But just to understand how they work, let's say I were to select the top level layer in my elements group. If I were to go to black and white, notice that everything is affected by the black and white adjustment layer, right? So if I turn that on and off, you can see the entire layer stack is affected. If I were to take this adjustment layer and stick it under the model, notice that only these guys, only these layers have been converted to black and white. All right. Now, let's say you wanted only her to be black and white and not the layers underneath her. Ooh, tricky. There's a way to do that. When we apply an adjustment layer, you are always going to have this fun looking icon right here that basically is applying it to only the layer underneath. So you can target individual layers. You could click that and notice that she is black and white, right? But none of the others are. Okay. Now there are a ton of these really nice adjustment layers that we're going to play with. And I do want you to see that you can combine as many as possible. So let's say, could apply black and white, but at the same time, I could apply, let's say, curves. And let's say I want the shadows, that's what these values are down here, and the highlights to be more intense. So I could say, hey, let's make those shadows darker and our highlights brighter. And notice that it is applying both the curves adjustment layer as well as the black and white. And I can have the flexibility of one or the other. So it's non-linear. It's not like it has to be in a particular order. I can have any number of combinations of adjustment layers. And again, if I wanted curves to only be applied, let's say, to the model and not to the background here, I could click the little apply to target, right, to the one underneath it button here. And you can see that it's only affecting her. It's not affecting the skyline. Okay. With that, just to get maybe one more in here, let's apply a gradient map. Gradient maps are super fun. If I apply a gradient map, you can see that I get a gradient map sort of swatch here. And if I click on that, I get my gradient editor. So let's say I wanted all the shadows to be this blue color, but I want the midtones to be red and the highlights to be yellow. Okay. Well, if I click on this swatch, you can see I could select from any of my blues. Maybe I want it to be more of a bright blue. And then I could add a swatch. And right now it's saying like, hey, this midtone, it's sort of a dark midtone. This would be the middle gray would be here. I could say this guy, I want that to be red. And you can see that all my midtones are now red. And if I wanted, let's say, maybe we'll keep the super white whites white. We could change them to yellow, right? We could double click on the swatch and we could make them all yellow. But we could basically have any combination we want. If I click over here, nice. If I click over here, I could make it white. And you can see that all my highlights, like the building, is white. and we could slide these color swatches around and get sort of different looks that we might want. And again, if you want to get rid of a swatch, you just drag down. Okay, so incredible flexibility, great way to colorize a photo. So many cool options with gradient maps and adjustment layers. And you could see that, we could do any kind of combination of these or isolate certain adjustment layers. There's an absolute ton of cool stuff you can make just with those. But just to review, you've got your vector layers, your photo layers, your type layers, and your adjustment layers. Those are the ones you're going to use most often in Photoshop.